Right now in IUSTV News, after an extended break, today Congress returns to office. The items on the agenda and why they may not meet some of their deadlines.
Plus, the Bicentennial Gateway is nearing completion. We have an update on the construction traffic patterns and when the project will wrap up.
And the hush money case against President-elect Trump is on hold. Why the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has decided to push back sentencing until next week.
And we're finally seeing some of those cool fall temperatures creep in. I'll tell you all about that and more in just a little bit.
Members of the House and Senate are back on Capitol Hill today after more than a month-long recess. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dana Behlmer.
And I'm Isaac Perlich. This lame duck session is poised to be hectic. Amy Kiley reports on the pressing deadlines before Inauguration Day.
That December 20th deadline is going to creep up very quickly.
Congress returns to Washington today after an extended election recess. Lawmakers face an urgent to-do list and a ticking clock. They have about 5 weeks to pass a funding bill to keep the government open.
Expect a clash because that's always what happens when we have these potential shutdowns. Republicans are likely going to push for a shorter-term funding patch, while Democrats are going to want a longer-term funding plan.
Another pressing concern is this fiscal year's National Defense Authorization Act. The House and Senate have separate versions on the table and need one that can pass both chambers. Congress also faces pressure to approve more disaster relief funds after Hurricanes Milton and Helene.
We have seen an increase in the frequency and gravity of extreme weather events, and it is our obligation as a government to be prepared for the long term. And that is why we need Congress to act.
Meanwhile, some farm bill programs expire at the end of this year. The debt ceiling will be reinstated January 2nd, and
President Biden will have the opportunity over the next 70 days to make the case to the Congress and to the incoming administration that the United States should not walk away from Ukraine.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The Senate faces a few votes that don't include the House. Republicans are set to elect their leaders for that chamber tomorrow. Before then, Senate Democrats are rushing to confirm President Joe Biden's judicial nominees.
President-elect Trump's lawyers and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office have agreed to delay the hush money case until next week. That will give Trump's lawyers time to make new arguments on how his election victory impacts the case. The judge was expected to rule today on whether to overturn the business fraud conviction. Instead, both sides agreed to a motion to delay existing deadlines. Trump is seeking to vacate his conviction on 34 counts of falsifying business records. It comes after the Supreme Court determined in June that Trump should receive broad immunity for his official acts during his time in office.
President-elect Donald Trump is likely to pick Florida Senator Marco Rubio to serve as Secretary of State. Trump was leaning towards picking Rick Grenell, who served as Trump's ambassador to Germany, and later as acting director of national intelligence. But we've learned Trump shifted his position, and it is believed he will now select Rubio. The three-term senator is currently a member of both the Senate Intelligence and Foreign Relations committees. All right, guys, let's get a check of the weather.
Yeah, we've had falling leaves and falling temperatures here recently. We have Carson Johnson in for the weather.
Yes, that's right, guys. As you can see, currently across Indiana, we're seeing temperatures in the high 40s around south central Indianapolis, like Franklin, Greenwood area, about 46 degrees. Down here in the Bloomington, Nashville area, about 49 degrees. And then in the far south of Indiana, it is about 50 degrees across the board. Now, overnight, we're looking at partly cloudy temperatures all night, 9 p.m., about 45 degrees, and then it's going to just cool off throughout the rest of the night. About midnight, we're seeing 43 degrees, and then by 3 a.m., 42 degrees. And that decreasing temperature trend is going to continue into the morning. If you're walking your dog early in the morning, you are going to wake up to about 41 degrees at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., down to 40 degrees, cloudy at both of those hours. And then by 8 a.m., it's going to be partly cloudy, back up to 41. Now, that's all for now, but coming up, I'm going to tell you about some rain chances tomorrow, how it's going to stay cool or not. Stay tuned for that. And then also our weekend forecast. Guys, back to you.
After 4 days of deliberations, jurors in Carroll County found Richard Allen guilty in the 2017 killings of Abby Williams and Libby German. The girls were found murdered in a wooded area near Delphi, Indiana. It took investigators several years to track down the person they say was responsible. Police arrested Allen 2 years ago this month, and he has been in police custody ever since. The trial started last month and lasted several weeks. Allen will be sentenced in December.
Back here locally, 4 people, including 2 IU students, are recovering after being hit by a car over the weekend. IU police tell us it happened just before midnight at the intersection of 17th Street and Eagleson Avenue. 2 of the people hit were IU students, the other 2 were not. All 4 of the pedestrians were injured. 3 had minor injuries, while the 4th was in critical but stable condition. IU police said the driver stayed on scene and cooperated with officers. Neither alcohol or drugs are believed to be a factor.
A firefighter was injured over the weekend while battling a large house fire. It happened around 7:30 on Reynolds Road on the north end of Bloomington. When firefighters arrived, they found the home completely in flames. The attached garage had not yet caught on fire, and firefighters moved quickly to contain the fire. The owner of the home was able to make it out of the house. The injured firefighter was taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
A road on the east side of Bloomington will be closed for the next few weeks as the city replaces an underground culvert. The repairs are to improve stormwater drainage. Crews will also repave the road when the repairs are done. The city says they will use extended hours to make sure the project wraps up within 2 weeks.
Well, apart from all of the road and lane closures around town, work on another project continues to chug on. Our own Zach Dickstein joins us from Showers Park with an update. Zach?
Thanks, guys. That's right. I'm currently at Miller Showers Park on North Walnut Avenue, and as you can see behind me, the Bicentennial Gateway project is finally near completion, a site the Bloomington community has been awaiting for quite some time. The project was initially approved for construction back in 2018, but COVID-19 unfortunately put plans on hold. On top of that, it faced a large range of contract issues and delays. But in June of 2024, construction finally kicked off, and now we're seeing the vision come to life. Once completed, this gateway will show off freshly planted trees as they grow. Plus, there's a new limestone Bloomington sign that will be lit up at night, making it a true landmark for the area. At a cost of $1.23 million, the project aims to bring not only a sense of beauty, but a renewed sense of town pride to a part of Bloomington many Hoosiers would not expect to see transformed. For now, that's all from me. Back to you guys at the desk.
That was our Zach Dickstein reporting. The city says work on the gateway should wrap up by the end of the month.
The City of Bloomington has a new Safe and Civil City Program Director. Andrew Shannon is stepping into the role. He will lead Bloomington's Community and Family Resources Department. Shannon will also work to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. He joins the city from the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights.
The IU chapter of Sigma Chi fraternity is now on cease and desist for hazing. IU said the investigation is still open. All activities of the organization are suspended until further notice. 2 other organizations are on C&D as well. The Indian Student Association was put on the list for hazing and alcohol violations, while Kappa Alpha Psi was added last year for hazing. Big changes are coming to the menu at Red Lobster.
Still ahead, why the changes and what the famous appetizer is making a return. Plus, an Air National Guardsman is set to be sentenced for leaking sensitive information on social media, the amount of time he could face in federal prison.
But first, a shark attack is not stopping one Hawaiian's love for surfing in the ocean. His story of recovery and perseverance. We're back after this. A man in Maui, Hawaii is back home and recovering after a shark bit off part of his leg. He had been hospitalized for a week.
The surfer is now rising above his injuries while thanking those who helped him.
Surfer Kenji Nonaka may have lost a part of his leg, but he hasn't lost his positive spirit.
I'm so happy. I'm so grateful.
And even though a shark bit off a part of his leg while he was surfing, he hasn't lost his love for the sport. Nonaka has been surfing for more than 40 years, and he says he won't stop because of this injury. He plans to get back on his board as soon as he's fully healed.
I don't know how to say, but I need surfing.
It's been exactly a week since a shark bit the 61-year-old while he was surfing at Wai'ehu Beach Park, a popular surfing spot also known as sand piles. Nonaka just got released from the hospital and is recovering at home, surrounded by his surfboard collection and gifts from loved ones, and even people he's never met before.
We really appreciate everyone from accident happened to now.
Nonaka says thinking about all of the generosity moves him to tears.
I cry, but that means happy.
It doesn't surprise me one bit because over the years since I've known Kenji, he just eludes aloha to everyone, and he's got the most incredible attitude.
Nonaka also wanted to thank his friends for giving him aid until first responders arrived on the day of the attack. One of them used a surfboard leash as a makeshift tourniquet to try to stop the bleeding. And that's why Nonaka is reminding others not to go into the ocean alone.
If they know stay there, I guarantee I think market already.
A GoFundMe page raised more than $94,000 to help cover Nonaka's medical expenses. And he says that kindness is helping him move forward.
I say thank you, everybody. Take care of me. I'm so grateful. Yeah, I lucky guy.
We have a link to that donation page on KITV.com.
Massachusetts Air National Guardsman who pleaded guilty to leaking sensitive national defense information will spend the next 15 years in federal prison. Jack Teixeira admitted to posting a trove of highly classified intelligence reports and other documents on social media. He pleaded guilty to all 6 counts he faced under the Espionage Act. His attorneys argued he should get 11 years in prison. However, prosecutors were asking for more than 16. The hefty sentence recommendation is far less time than the potential decades-long sentence he could have faced had he not struck a deal.
Hush puppies, once a staple on Red Lobster's menu, are finally returning. It's part of a broader change to the chain, which emerged from Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Rolling out this week, an overhauled menu that's 20% smaller, but has 9 new items. They include the beloved cornmeal fritters. One item not coming back anytime soon, endless shrimp for $19.99. The new CEO says never say never, but the restaurant can't sustain a menu item that loses money.
The month of November brings the annual Hispanic tradition of the Day of the Dead. La Casa at IU celebrated the day in their own way, and our Gabe Pantones was there.
La Casa IU is once again hosting its largest annual event of the year, the Day of the Dead celebration. It gives Hispanic and non-Hispanic students alike the opportunity to celebrate the lives of the people they have lost. Such a large celebration comes with a lot of planning and setup, even if the event is only 2 hours.
Reaching out to the Ballet Folklorico and the mariachi group, getting them set up, figuring out what crafts we want to do here, what food items, and actually not just here, but at the surrounding centers.
The event spanned 4 different buildings: La Casa, Canterbury House, First Nations, and the LGBTQ Center. All had Day of the Dead activities, and all that hard work did not go unnoticed.
You know, I wasn't part, so I'm not going to take credit. However, Sebastian did a wonderful job managing this whole event. You know, this event is one of our biggest events because we do collaborate with the other cultural centers.
There is so much to do here at La Casa and for Day of the Dead in general. They have everything in here from crafts to food, and of course, you gotta get your face painted. All of this hard work and dedication has led to a magical experience for students and townies alike.
I think one of the coolest aspects of Day of the Dead is connecting back again to those who we lost, just because it reminds us of who they were and how important they were to our lives, especially when we do the ofrendas.
Those ofrendas in all 4 centers are an opportunity for those to remember who they lost and an opportunity to make memories that last a lifetime.
That was our Gabe Pantones reporting. For more information on upcoming gatherings and events, visit lakcase.indiana.edu. Next on IUTV News, humans make upwards of 30,000 decisions a day. How you can defeat decision fatigue in today's Health Minute.
Plus, talk about a change in the weather. It's much colder out there today, finally starting to feel like fall. Carson has a check of the forecast on the other side of the break.
Take a guess on how many decisions you've made today. From the moment you wake up to the time your eyes close at night, one expert estimates your brain makes upwards of 35,000 decisions a day.
That's a lot of decisions. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has ways to help you defeat decision fatigue.
What to do for dinner? What to wear to work? Do you have time to go to the gym, or would it be better to take a brisk walk? All simple questions, but the weight of answering them each day can get heavy.
Decision fatigue is the mental exhaustion that individuals feel when they make multiple decisions over the course of the day.
Psychologist Susan Albers with Cleveland Clinic says it's a common problem for many adults and can be caused by stress, feeling overwhelmed, and lack of sleep. Since decision fatigue can build up over time, it can be tricky to spot. But she says there are warning signs, including procrastination, decision avoidance, impulsive decisions, irritability, brain fog, and confusion.
If you are a single parent or you carry the majority of the decisions at work, you may find yourself struggling more often with making these choices.
To help defeat decision fatigue, Albert says to create a routine to help know what to expect each day. Limit your options, like having some go-to meal ideas. Prioritize decisions. Albert says studies show we make our best decisions first thing in the morning. And delegate some decisions.
Children can decide what they want to wear in the morning, or a spouse can help us to decide what to make for dinner. This helps to lower the pressure and decrease some of the decisions that you have to make that are not that important.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Spending too much time on the toilet could be bad for your health. Prolonged sitting on the toilet has been connected to an increased risk of hemorrhoids. The increased pressure affects blood circulation and forces your body to work harder to pump blood back up to your heart. As a result, blood vessels can become enlarged and engorged, increasing the risk of hemorrhoids. So how long is too long? Experts say on average, you should spend no more than 10 minutes on the john.
Turning to weather now. Guys, I hate to say it, but it is finally starting to feel like November.
Yeah, it was chilly out there today. Carson,
it was, but the last time I did weather, I talked about how much I hated that it was still hot in the middle of October. Well, we're finally getting some of those cool fall temperatures that I've dreamt of for so long. Like I mentioned earlier, current temperature-wise, it is in the high 40s across the state of Indiana. Down here in Bloomington, we are in the 49 range, and then in the far south of Indiana, it is about still in the 50s. Not too bad though. And then tomorrow, when you wake up and you're walking to class, you're going to be looking at about 42 degrees. It's going to be partly sunny. By noon, it's going to jump all the way up to 56 degrees, but it's going to be cloudy. And then by 4 p.m., there is going to be a considerable chance of rain, and it's going to jump up to 59 degrees. Now, as you can see, the chance of rain increases exponentially throughout the afternoon tomorrow. By 3 p.m., we're looking at about a 20% chance, 50% at 5, and then by 7 p.m., there's going to be a 70% chance of rain, and then after that, it is going to start dissipating throughout the evening. Now, tomorrow we're going to get some high temperatures as well in the 60s across the state, low 60s, 61 in Bloomington specifically, and then down in southern Indiana, about 62 degrees. So not much variation across the state in that regard. Now Thursday, when you wake up, there's going to be some fog, probably a result of that rain. It's going to be about 50 degrees. By noon, it will have jumped up to 55 degrees, and by 4 p.m., back down to 54. And by the afternoon, it is going to be partly sunny. Now, onto the 7-day forecast. Like I mentioned, on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, some might say, we are going to get some rain throughout the day. On Thursday and Friday, we're going to get highs in the mid-50s and lows in the high 40s. It's going to be a pretty nice weekend. Highs around the high 50s, low 60s, and lows in the 40s. And then next week, Monday and Tuesday, we are getting highs in the low 60s and lows in the 40s with some sunny conditions.
Yeah, you know what? Other than the rain tomorrow, I think that this week it looks pretty nice.
I know. I can't wait to break out my sweaters.
All right, Carson, thank you. Next in sports, the Hoosiers are rolling on. It's a bye week for football ahead of what is the biggest test of the season. Allie has the recap in sports. Stay with us.
IU football is 10-0 for the first time in history of IU football, with the basketball season in its early stages. I'm Allie Holm, and let's start with football. On primetime Saturday afternoon, number 8 Indiana took on 5-4 Michigan, hoping to go 10-0 for the first time in school history. Number 8 Indiana improved to 10-0 and 7-0 in the Big Ten as they edged out Michigan 20-15. The offense led the way in the first half, up to 17-3 at the half until they fell out of rhythm in the second half. Curtis Rourke was 17-28, passing for 206 yards for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Tyson Lawton led the way on the ground with 55 rushing yards on 12 carries. Indiana improves to number 5 in the AP polls as they head into their second bye week to get ready for a top 5 matchup against Ohio State. As IU football keeps rolling, Indiana basketball looks to add on as they start the season 2-0, taking down SIUE and Eastern Illinois this past week. IU basketball starts the year at number 17 in the AP polls and won their first game against SIUE 80-61. In their second game, they beat Eastern Illinois 90-55. Mackenzie Mbako led the way against SIUE with 31 points for a new career high while being 4-5 from 3 and grabbing 9 rebounds. In the game against Eastern Illinois, Mackenzie Mbako also led the way again with 18 points and 7 rebounds. IU moves up 1 spot to number 16 as they take on 1-1 South Carolina this Saturday. Number 2 seed IU traveled to Bridgefield, Illinois for the first round of the Big Ten men's soccer tournament to take on number 7 seed Michigan. IU soccer fell to Michigan this past Thursday 1-0. This loss snapped their 7-match winning streak along with their 10-match unbeaten and multi-goal streak, which is their longest since 1997. The loss to Michigan was the first since 2021 and the first time not reaching the Big Ten tournament since 2016. JT Harams ended the day with 3 saves, with IU firing off 10 shots with only 1 on goal. For IU women's basketball started at number 25 on the AP poll and 1-1 after last week. IU women's basketball won their first game against Brown 82-60. Cindy Parrish led the way with double-to-double, dropping 20 points with 10 rebounds. They shot 50% from the field and rout on their 22-point win over Brown. This past Thursday, the women lost in overtime 72-68 to Harvard. Lily Meister and Yarden Garzen led the way with 20 points. Meister also had 15 rebounds for her first career double-double. IU women almost completed the comeback after being down at the end of the first quarter. IU women fell off the AP polls as they go to take on Butler this Wednesday. And for the all things latest on IU sports, be sure to tune in each week to Hoosier Sports Night. You can catch it Thursdays on IUSTV. That's all for sports. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Allie.
Let's get one last check at that 7-day forecast. Carson, what is the rest of the week going to look like?
Yeah, of course, guys. We're going to get some somewhat chilly temperatures for the rest of the week, but pretty nice weather overall. Now, on Wednesday, high of 60, low of 40, but you're going to get some rain in the mid to late afternoon. On Thursday and Friday, it's going to be pretty temperate, 55, 57 being the highs there, and then 49 and 46 being the lows respectively. Really nice weekend. On Saturday, a high of 59 and a low of 40. On Sunday, a high of 61 and a low of 43. On Monday and Tuesday, pretty similar temperatures, low of 49 and 50 respectively, and highs of 62 and 63. On Monday, going to be pretty cloudy, and then on Tuesday, it's going to be partly sunny. Quite a beautiful week, if I do say so myself.
I would agree, Carson. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching IUSTV News.
For updates between newscasts, check out IUSTV.com. We look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow night. Take care.